Okay, so this is a video that I'm excited for. This is actually a couple of firsts. This is my first ever order from Farney's Pins in the Washington, D.C. area, and this is my first Gravitas pin. Now, as I've mentioned before in some videos, I'm a sucker for titanium, and when I saw that Farney's started carrying the Gravitas pins, which I had seen before, but I didn't necessarily want to order from international, I thought it was the time to pick one up. This box seems to be a little bit different. Get this opened up here. Fighting that one a little. Okay, so how is this? There we go. Okay, so we've got paperwork. Got plenty of packing material. Get the box put to the side. Okay, so let's get started here. First off, we have a Farney's catalog magazine. Now, I remember getting these when I was a kid. I was not into pins at the time, but for some reason these came in the mail, so I'll definitely set this aside to look. You know, it's rare to have actual physical catalogs anymore of pins, so that's a neat little perk. And then here we have the Gravitas pin. Now, this is the Sentry model in raw titanium. So it's just packaged in there. It's in a little plastic sleeve here. So it's interesting that this doesn't come in a box. You know, most pins come in a box, but I actually kind of like this. It's a little zippered pouch. Kind of show that there with a key ring on the end. So let's open this up and take a look at the pin. Okay, so let me grab this for now. We can set this on. So you can see the all titanium. Actually, I'll hold it over here. You can see on the cap, it's got the Gravitas logo kind of laser etched in there. It's a nice shiny titanium. Cap unscrews. And you can see this is a number 6 nib, also with the Gravitas logo, extra fine for me, of course. And these are Yovo 6 compatible, so you can unscrew that nib unit and replace it with a nib of your choice. And I don't know if the camera is going to pick this up, but you can kind of see it. This actually has a kind of ribbed texture on it, which is nice. And with this being shiny titanium, it's gonna get fingerprints on it. So just if you were to purchase one of these, be aware of that. But it's got some weight to it too, a little bit of heft. So this is a standard cartridge converter pin. And one thing that they talk about, and I'll hold over here to show, is there's an O-ring at the bottom of the threads to hold it in, to seal it off. And it does come with its converter. Now this looks like a pretty standard converter. I might end up switching that out. I don't like these ones with the little plastic for that clear turner for some reason. Personal preference. So I might end up changing that out in the future. But for now, it'll be fine to fill it up. So let me grab some ink. We'll get this filled up and do a quick writing sample. Since it is a stock Yovo style steel number 6, we don't have to do that much of a writing sample, but I definitely want to get this inked up and get it into rotation. So let me grab some ink and I'll be right back. Okay, so the ink I'm going to be using today is actually the Mont Blanc William Shakespeare Velvet Red. I don't have anything in that color family currently in a pen, so I thought that would be something good to work into the rotation. So standard cartridge converter. And from my ASVN video, I did make sure to grab a bottle for doing this on a video that had a large enough opening so I didn't run into any issues while filming. That's not something that most people have to be aware of, but I figured that's just a little bit easier with prep. And I do have a paper towel down today. You'll notice I got a new desk mat that's neoprene and not leather now, and it covers my whole top of my desk. And I want to avoid ink drops on it if possible, so I figured the precautionary paper towel is never a bad thing. So let's get this screwed in here. And one nice thing with titanium is the little ink that did get on the section wiped right off. So that's always a plus. Going to put it in the cap for the moment while I get this put away. And I'll grab some paper and we can get to some writing. And for paper, once again, I'm using a sheet of plotter paper in my A5 plotter here. Okay, so let's see how this writes. Gravitas Sentry. Here. And this is fine. So it's got a nice smooth feel to it. Now this will post, and it posts pretty firmly. I believe in the description there's an O-ring inside the cap too to kind of hold it on there. So you don't have to worry. So it's a decently weighted pen, as you would imagine, with all the titanium, but not heavy. It doesn't feel too heavy in the hand. It kind of sits, at least for me, with the balance. Now, I don't post my pens very often anymore. I think this does feel a little bit more comfortable unposted, but, you know, in a pinch, posting would work as well. So just for, you know, the extra fine nib, as you would expect, not a ton of line variation, but I do like this ink. I hadn't used it in a while, so I'm glad I picked this one off the shelf. It's going to be a good one to use for a bit. So definitely happy with this. And like I mentioned, this is my, I think, third titanium pen. It's one of my weaknesses. If there's something that's released in titanium, I will probably own it eventually, which can be pretty dangerous in the pen / knife / watch hobby. As you can imagine, there's a lot of people who like the titanium, so you know, I could find myself getting into trouble very easily. And I'll show this just, you know, to side from a line variation. Pretty standard extra fine line. This Mont Blanc ink on this plotter paper behaves great. It's, you know, not feathering or anything. So I've really been impressed with this plotter paper as a whole. You know, very usable on both sides. If you haven't seen my plotter video, I'll put a link to that down in the description and also pop up a little card. I'm really liking the system, so I'm glad I decided to go that route. But overall, a good first introduction to the Gravitas pen. And let me show some size comparisons here. Let me grab my pen tray and I'll be right back. So before I get to the size comparison, I wanted to ask a favor. If you can go on and click on subscribe, I've set a goal for myself to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I'm about 150 or so away, depending on when this video releases. So go on and click on that subscribe for me. That'll really help out the channel so I can keep making videos like this to share pens and stationery hobby with you. I also want to ask, do you have any Gravitas pens? If so, leave a comment. What do you think of them? Are they a new brand that you're not familiar with, or something that you have, or now, like me, you can get them available from a distributor in the United States? Does it make you a little bit more apt to pick one up potentially? So leave a comment and let me know. And finally, don't forget, I do have a member subscription for the channel. Check out the link in the description so you can get early access to videos and priority answering for comments and chats and things like that. And that also helps the channel out. So let's get on to the size comparison. Okay, so I grabbed my pen tray, and just a side note, I don't have the video out on this pen tray. You'll see the video for this Gravitas before the pen tray video releases, because I decided on this one to do an unboxing, using it for a full week, and then I'll close out the video and post that. So stay tuned to be sure you can see my thoughts on this stationary stack Alfie pen tray. Already a huge fan. It's definitely helped keep my desk in a much better order. But back to the Gravitas. So you can see here I have a Lamy 2000 stainless, a Sailor 1911 black luster, a Custom 92 by Pilot, a Diplomat Aero, the Gravitas, a Leonardo Momento Zero, and then an Asvine C80, and then a Kaweco Piston Sport that I was kind of set in there just for size scale, you can see. So pretty comparable. It's a little bit longer, not quite as long as the Asvine, about, you know, maybe half an inch or quarter inch longer, or what, that's about 3/4 of a centimeter, I think, I'm not the best at metric system. Longer than a Memento Zero. Probably about the same length as a Sailor large. Yeah, almost. It's got to the flat part of the cap here, even with the Sailor. Let me uncap these. Okay, so you can see in terms of uncapped, even though the Sailor was about the same length with it when the caps are on, you can see it's quite a bit shorter. The only pin that's longer than it when they're uncapped is this ASME C80 with that number 8 nib. So it's a longer pin, and that's probably partly to the balance of keeping it where it'll sit in your hand properly so you're not too much forward weighting or back weighting, but I don't think in the long run that's going to be much of an issue. I like larger pins, and heavier pins don't bother me. So, that might be different for you. So be sure and keep that in mind if you are looking to purchase one of these in the future. Okay, so that's going to wrap up this first look at my new Gravitas Sentry, the all-titanium pen. Don't forget, like I mentioned, leave me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on the Gravitas or titanium pens in general, or any other pen questions you have. I do my best to try and answer those as best as possible. And if I don't know the answer, I'll point you to someone who can answer your question for you. And I wanted to say one more time, just thank you. I do appreciate all the comments and the interaction with the channel. It really makes me feel good as I'm making these videos to know that people appreciate and are watching and following along. So until next time, thanks for watching.